Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. And of course, we still have our guest here. And then the topic we're looking at today is the need to cut the cost of governance. Otubo Ogunlaja, let's start this way. During my introduction, I did say that there is a lot of dissatisfaction from Nigerians at the moment who have looked at the current state of the situation where we are as a nation, especially the way the economy is at the moment. And they're looking for ways by which governments can actually cut the cost of governance. Do you also share in this view?
I sincerely do. But because this is an enlightenment program, we want to have our viewers enlightened. What actually is the cost of governance?
Right.
What do you refer to as cost of governance? And when you say cost of governance, we are referring to the spendings, the day-to-day spendings of government and the provision of amenities, services, and the running of governance. It can be in form of recurrent expenditure, which entails overhead costs and personnel costs, payment for salaries and allowances. Another one is the capital expenditure. That is the provision of basic infrastructural amenities that are needed for the development of the country.
Right.
Unfortunately, the balance has tilted towards payment of recurrent expenditure, where allowances are paid, salaries are paid, and little or nothing is left for the provision of concrete infrastructural amenities that will lift the country forward, that will improve our production, that will make us efficient and effective, and that will make the people feel that there's governance.
Okay.
Unfortunately, people are not feeling that. So having said that, there's no disputing the fact that everybody is concerned about the cost of governance in Nigeria, right from the local government to the federal government level. I want to say that a lot of money is being spent on running an administration that shouldn't have taken so much. Placed in a situation where you have duplication of efforts. You have ministries here and there. You have ministers for, you have ministers of, you have chairman of local government, you have deputy chairman, you have this, you have leader of government, you have leader of a constituency. You have all forms of offices. As a result, you have this duplication to the extent that about 1 trillion naira every year is spent or wasted on payment of unnecessary personnel costs for these officers. So I am of the opinion that, truthfully speaking, Nigerians deserve better treatment, and government need to reorder its priorities and place more emphasis on provision of concrete infrastructure amenities, emphasis on roads, on transportation, on hospitals, on schools.
Basic amenities.
Basic amenities,
right.
And not just payment of salaries, especially when the salaries are among us, when the salaries are embarrassing, when the salaries are not productive, to the extent that we even have some form of payment now known as constituency allowance. I don't know when legislators have become contractors to be carrying out constituency projects. And most of them do constituency allowance in their pockets. The allowance are always in their bank accounts. The last one I saw, it was a NEPA pole that he erected, just one, and the colored people are saying, "Hi, I'm launching my constituency allowance." Well, just a NEPA pole, and it was commissioned.
Wonderful.
You can see the ridicule in that.
Okay, so how do we develop as a society if we seem to be focusing more on recurrent expenditure as against capital expenditure? Then it does appear that governance in this country is a food for the boys. Because you see commissioner for these, special advisor for these, senior special assistant for these, replication of appointment here and there. And this is what is actually taking the chunk part of what government is generating. So how do we develop as a society?
Yeah. I want to take our minds back to during the regime of General Yakubu Gowon. There were only 15 federal ministers. After the 15, 5 were called, only 15 federal ministers, and there were only about 25 permanent secretaries. After 25, 5 were called Super Pump 6. With only 15 federal ministers, the country witnessed rapid development from what it used to be to become a force in Africa. When Murtala Mohammed came to power, same happened. Not more than 12 ministers, and the country developed. Even with the extravagant lifestyle of Obasanjo, we say not more than 20 ministers and the country developed. What am I saying? It is not the number of ministers that will lead to development. It is the commitment of those who are being appointed.
Right.
See, unfortunately now, ministerial jobs are now jobs for the boys. Thank you for supporting me, Minister for Home Affairs. Thank you for supporting me, Minister for Water. Thank you for supporting me, Minister for Provision of Tea. It's so annoying, and nothing is not purpose-oriented. Not purpose-oriented. A lot of duplicity. Although government is beginning to look to fill this and try to make some amends. Unfortunately, this government will make amends and will do some other bad ones. In quotes, you have decided to merge some ministries. Again, you are creating other ministries. What are you merging? It's just time wasting. So government is becoming food for the boys or for the men. Get them engaged at the expense of the real development. The real development is provision of basic, what's called critical infrastructural amenities. Are they being provided? How many government hospitals have been built? How many roads have been constructed? How many model colleges have been built in local government areas in our constituencies? How many universities have been expanded? These are the questions we're asking. Unfortunately, when most of these projects have to be done, they are just seen as, they are called white elephant projects. State governments establishing, constructing airports. Okay. I don't know what state governments want to do, what is business of state governments in provision of airports. Not airstrips, so we are only headquarters to land. International airports. For instance, one is about to build in Ede, in Osun State. How many people fly to London or America from Ede?
From there. Okay, I mean...
It's not annoying, it's not stupid.
Atuma, why did you look at me?
Are you from Ede?
Do you have an affiliation?
Are you from Osun?
I'm from Osun State.
Okay, please tell your governor. So that is what you are saying. And some other governors too. So until we prioritize,
right.
I want to see a situation where the governor will come and say, I want to build a standard hospital in my state, where all the facilities are there, where nobody will go outside for any transplant, whether kidney or heart transplant, where cancer can be adequately dealt with, where chemo can be done almost free of charge.
Right.
These are the questions. I want to see a governor that will come out and say, okay, I want to build a secondary school that will accommodate about 100,000 students, where there will be science-oriented, it will be technological-oriented, there will be practical, there will be technical subjects that will be taught by this, that will be taught, and the students when they graduate, they can on their own be self-employed.
Right.
This is what we're saying, not just spending money providing, and not spending money bringing eligible bachelors in and give them money to go and get married.
Okay, I mean, you've raised issues here, bordering more on the fact that there is a need to develop infrastructure.
Yes.
There is a need to, I mean, not only infrastructure, but infrastructure that have direct impact on the lives of the people.
Yes.
And so here, you've raised that point. But then if you look at the way the Nigerian economy is at the moment, you'd also, we still talked about the fact that even as fragile as our economy is, we're still borrowing. And so when you talk about prioritizing and borrowing, and then we've said also, nobody has said you cannot borrow, but when you borrow, you also need to prioritize what you're borrowing for. So if you look side by side with the fact that we're saying government needs to cut spendings, frivolous spendings that are not justifiable, and then the fact that we are still borrowing, is there a connection here, or is there a link here where you say, okay, look at why you're borrowing? Don't borrow for white elephant projects, like you've said. Borrow for meaningful projects. And then we're saying you also still need to cut the cost of governance in that. So if you're cutting the cost of governance, can you still go to borrow?
You can go to borrow if it is clear that that money will be justifiably invested.
Okay.
Get me right. Justifiably invested. That will bring what is called return on that investment.
Okay.
First, if you go to borrow, and you now establish industries in all the central districts, you establish hospitals in all central districts, you establish primary health care, you establish primary schools in all central districts, to the extent that there will be no Almagare again in the north. There will be no out-of-school children again in the west. There will be no area boys again in Lagos. People are they are adequately equipped. Then I will say go and borrow in.
Okay. Because
there will be investment later. But what do we do in Nigeria? When you borrow, as soon as the money is received, the first thing is to sell to the boys, which is annoying. You see, to the extent that as of today, 37.5% of our gross domestic product is going on services of external debts. So what are we saying? So the question is that if we don't talk now, generations unborn will ask us, even in our graves, that daddy, please wake up. Where were you when this was happening? What happened? We are now in great debt. You may not believe it. Very soon, the Republic of China will become the colonial master of Nigeria. All of us will become Chinese. How much are you owing? Your own money is 10 million naira. Because all of us have been used as collateral for the loans we are getting from these countries.
Right.
So the point is that borrowing must be done only if and when necessary. Not because you do not have money to pay salaries, to pay allowances.
That's why you're borrowing.
To not go and pay. You are not borrowing.
Okay.
You are only postponing the doomsday. And by the time it will boomerang, by the time it will explode, it will be more than the beginning of the Third World War.
Okay, this spending spree by our leaders of these days, just tell us, is there any missing link now? Because there's a particular editorial credited to The Punch where it says that a total of 29 state governors spent 1.994 trillion on recurrent expenditures, including refreshment, sitting allowances, traveling, and utilities in the first 9 months of 2024. In those days of Awolowo, we had less of income, but we had meaningful development. Now we are making much more with less of development. What's the problem?
The problem is that we have monetized political posts. Until a politician or those politicians see that we are coming to serve, not to make money. And that they will not say that unless there is a change in the Constitution. There should be a constitutional amendment that says, for this post of anybody who's coming as a senator, your salary is salary level 17 in the civil service. Anybody who's coming as a governor, your salary is salary of a permanent secretary in the civil service. The moment they know that they have a fixed salary structure, only those who want to serve will go and contest. You see? But because ordinary constituency allowance is enough to pay the salary of a ministry in the service, and only one person going with that. Imagine someone going with 25 million naira per month, for God's sake. What's it going to take? It's going to sleep in coffins.
Hardship allowance.
Yes, no, 25 million every month. That's just an allowance. To cumulative of the salary and allowances, 25 million naira. They have to pay the salary for almost everybody in LTV.
But they will defend it by telling you that they are spending their precious time to serve us.
Are we not
to make laws for us?
Are you not spending precious time to do now? I'm not wasting my time. Am I not spending my time informing Nigerians now? I should be on my bed sleeping.
As a retiree.
As a retiree. And I spent 35 years serving the nation. 35 good years serving the government of Lagos State. That's state of excellence. I have no regret. But what I'm making that, if you could do that, what stops them?
Okay.
How many of them are put 35 years in service?
Right.
At worst, they'll put only 2 years in
8 years.
Apprenticeship. Only 2 years in apprenticeship. They do not come in for 4 years. They now go out with humongous salary. To the extent that they call it what is called budget padding. You'll be given this amount the government wants. So you will not pad the budget.
And then you get
saying
your
that
own.
This is for us. Who are you?
Otumba, let's quickly look at it this way. You know, oftentimes when we talk about things like this, there's usually a lot of attention at the federal level.
Yes.
And so there's always this misconception that it is only at the federal level that issues of cost of governance, only comes to play. How about at the state level?
It is a wrong notion to believe that it's only at the federal government level, although the rot is more in that level. That's not to exonerate state governments and even local governments.
Right.
Especially now that local governments will have access
to their funds.
Unhindered access to funds. You will begin to see the real local government structure. But I want to say that some states are equally guilty of this. Many states, maybe 2 or 3 will be exceptions, like Lagos, but not totally Lagos too. There's no place where, in quote, Yoruba should say, talking meaning there's no place you don't have all these issues.
Right.
The point is that the way they are managed, all the states too must equally look at their spendings. Many frivolous spendings in some other states too. Some states actually do the take the annoying step of going abroad to host meetings. They'll give themselves obstacles. They give themselves out of station allowance. when the meetings can be held in Nigeria. Even if you don't want to stay in your state, go to some other state that you have amenities.
At least you'll be generating income for that
now
state.
going outside Nigeria to go and host meetings. What kind of stupidity is that? And you are saying you are governing Nigerians, you are governing Nigerians in diaspora? Or what are you saying? So it is a disease, or is what I call an infection that cuts across board. It affects federal government a lot. State governments are not
exempted,
out of it.
right.
And local governments are going to be the main culprits now. Now that they have access to money. You see, a local government chairman having an entourage of about 10 cars. And the way I said that is chairman going, who is that? Deputy is that? Leader of the house, who is that? Protocol is that? Deputy leader of the house.
When the people are hungry.
People are hungry. It's so annoying.
So sensitivity is very important when we talk about cutting cost of governance here. And so, I mean, from what you've also, Jibola, sorry about this, from what you've mentioned here, how important is it for government to be sensitive to the plight of the people they govern?
It's very important, and maybe that explains why the president decided to quickly throw the olive branch to Nigerians about 2 weeks ago, when he said, one, no minister will have more than 3 vehicles instead of the 10, 20 they need to have. 2, no minister will have no minister head of ministerial agency. Then 2, no one will have more than 5 security men, 4 police men, officers, and 1 SS. And that the Office of the National Security Advisor should ensure that this is implemented. And he himself decided to set the ball rolling. I remember the first time when he was to travel at the beginning, first time, he went to almost 150 delegates, including market women, including opinion leaders, including TikTok people, including women who dress stupidly
and his children,
bring out their breasts, including his children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
You are morning television.
Yes, I agree. I need to say the truth. So he just took everybody.
What if they are the stakeholders?
Now that they are not stakeholders, what is a woman almost half naked going to do? Stakehold. Where she's going?
Stakehold.
In quote. That's my grammar. Use it. Stakehold. By Gulaja. That's poetic license.
Okay.
The right of the poet to use language the way he wants.
Okay.
So, no, let me just all right. And now you are saying that he has reduced foreign trip officers from 50 to 20. He has reduced local internal trip to 25. And to the vice president, only 5 officers foreign trip and 15 internal. So which is okay, beginning. But I want to see this time when the president will travel out to today 4 or 5 people.
Right.
Vice president today 2 or 3 people. That's okay. And we can only use our own airline, or there is I know of a country where the president uses public airline. The only thing that he does that is first class. That's all. That's all. You spend money as if your people needs money. Not that you spend money as if your people can go and die. Let the money is there, let me be there. So I think our leaders should begin to look at this and be more proactive. It must be people friendly. You must show that you feel the people and their impact. You must be responsive to their earnings so that when the time comes again for election, you can go to them and campaign. Although, whether I go to them to campaign or not, the resources are there. But there will be a time when you need to campaign and people will now tell you that we want you or we don't want you.
Otumba, we have said so much about our leaders. What about the people? We make frivolous demands of those people. And so when they get to office, they look at ways of cutting corners to meet the demands of their constituents and, of course, satisfy those who elected them to be in office. So while we are blaming the leaders, I think we should also look at the side of the people.
I want to lean towards you, but with some deviation.
Okay.
The people's attitude is a function of the leadership. The moment people say that their leaders are ready to make commitments, and they are seeing that commitment in them, people will follow suit and they will make commitments.
The people that collected money before they voted those people in office.
Why did you give them money before casting up? If you know you are good, if you are really good, and you have policies, you have programs, okay. In the days of Baba Femi and co, Baba will tell you that, come and listen, I will give you free education, free healthcare, free housing, this and that. Baba will not say, I'll give you money. And Baba never gave money. And people voted for him. We follow him foolishly, stupidly, but we knew what we were doing. And all the elections, he won. The one did not win, we all know what happened. So, another good example. In Lagos State, during the time of SDP, NRC, during the fracas between Edu, Agbala Jobi and co. Like, voters follow Agbala Jobi to the extent that even children were campaigning for Agbala Jobi with that popular cachet. Mommy, daddy, Agbala Jobi ni kẹ́ dìbò. Mommy, daddy, Agbala Jobi ni kẹ́ dìbò. Meaning, my daddy, my mommy, cast your votes for Agbala Jobi. Were those children giving money? Right. Because they saw the truthfulness in the man. So they followed him. So the followers will do what their leaders, the example they have shown. Though there are some followers that that are gullible. No, they are gullible.
Okay.
They want money. I remember the place where I went to, where someone was campaigning. I was just there to just assess what was happening. And when they got to the place, this was a place that had health center, no doctor, no facilities, no drugs, but just the building. And when we got to the place, the bylaw of the place, instead of when the politicians came, instead of asking for improvement of the health center, so that there should be a doctor, there should be nurses, there should be drugs, the man was saying, we welcome you here, and what have you brought to us? You need to have your impact. For the ballot, you need to have a particular amount. For the supporting chiefs, particular amount. For the people, a particular amount. They mentioned the amount. And when the man was going to give them the amount, and up to today, that health center is still there.
The same way.
No doctor, no nurse, no drugs. You see that? What stopped that kind of leader then to now ask the man, you have been here, we have a health center already built, no doctor, only one particular nurse, 24 hours of the day. Get us a resident doctor, get us some nurses. And again, we don't have drugs. You have to go outside and buy drugs. And most of the drugs you buy are fake drugs from these chemists. Can we get original drugs from government, from government depot to be given to this center?
Right.
These are the things they should have done, but they didn't do that.
Awesome, but time is fast spent. But then also, like at the beginning, we did say that the calls for cutting the cost of governance is not only in Nigeria.
Yes.
Globally, these are calls that are now ongoing, and a lot of countries are beginning to align with modern governance tools at ensuring that issues around governance are streamlined.
Yes, like in India, e-governance.
Do you see this happening in Nigeria anytime soon?
That's $1 million question.
Wow.
Because of the present crop of politicians. So these politicians should be there, whether you like it or not, the next 10, 20 years. Because what do? They only recycle within the family. The one is getting old. His own son is already in. Succeeding him. I sincerely want to believe that what is making around the mill will not be true as regards Lagos State. I want to believe that.
It's an assumption.
It should be an assumption. It should be an assumption. It should never be the correct one. Okay. It should be an assumption. I want to believe that. It should be. But there are some that I've already seen. I have seen many ministers who's general commissioners in Lagos State. I have seen many, I don't want to mention it, but they know themselves. I have seen many political bigwigs who are already into politics. And these are children who have little or no experience. They have no experience at all. The only thing they have is the name.
That's an experience too.
And you're not saying that. So I cannot see that happen. Because these are people that you are now stepped to the shoes of their fathers who bastardized the nation. And because they are used to that bastardization, they continue with it.
Okay.
So I don't think that is going to happen unless God will be magnanimous enough to just wipe all of us out.
Away.
I'm bringing...
Like Rollins did in Ghana.
As Rollins did, I'm serious. I'm bringing new blood.
Are you ready to be wiped off?
I am ready.
You're ready.
If that is the price you need to pay.
Oh, okay.
It's happening. Rollins. And today Ghana is better for it.
Yes, but then sorry, Ajibala, in case, the wiping off is not going to happen any moment.
I know, it won't happen. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you, that it's difficult.
Can we also look at the best ways possible that we also can get to the promised land?
The best way possible is for all of us to have a change of mind.
Okay.
Let us be patriotic. Let us for once say, I want to serve Nigeria. Let us do it. It can be done.
Right.
Let us for once say, I want to serve Nigeria. When a particular person was appointed a minister, some of us were very happy. But when he got to know that his own company got contract of about 400 million from the suspended minister, now reinstated, now given a clean slate, we felt it. See, When people you have interest, confidence in, when they now come up disappointing you, you want to feel that what is happening. Can there be improvement to this nation?
Okay.
Won't there be improvement? So the part one is saying is that let us all be committed. Let us say that this country is ours. Let all hands be on deck. Let no stone be left unturned. All letter eyes must be closed, letters must be jotted, letters must be closed.
Right.
To the extent that you can say that when I was here, I did this for the nation. And when I'm going to be there now, I want to do this and this for the nation.
Impact.
Mind you, the labors of our heroes past shall not be
In vain.
And if we allow it to be in vain, that blood will ask from us in court.
You were almost going to say we'll bury.
We'll bury Lord. We'll ask.
Jibola, you
Well,
will
quickly before we allow you go this morning,
Yes.
can we change the narrative by playing less of money politics? Because when you look at most of these politicians,
Yes.
get that nomination form from their party, and it's not a small money.
Yes.
Even
right.
if you want to become a local government chairman in Nigeria, you pay through your nose. So when they get to office, for them it's like an investment, and they want to recoup their money.
It is because the system allows that. I'll give you a good example. Look at the day of Babangida when he introduced two-party state, SDP and NRC. Well, forms were free. Free. Just go and collect your forms and submit. What stops us from doing that? So we don't need to pay for forms. You don't need to. If the politicians cannot do it, let government create parties for them and go and join the party, collect any form you want to collect, submit, go and campaign, contest if you know. But know that your salary is graded. As soon as you have won, you are on salary, you are on grade level 16 as a civil service. If you are the head, if you are the Senate president, you are on the salary of a permanent secretary. If you are the governor, you are on the salary of a federal permanent secretary. So if people know that this is their salary and form is free, only those who are really interested, genuinely interested, will get the form and will go there.
Okay. All right, that is where we'll leave this conversation here this morning. Otumba Muyiwa Ogunlaja has said we need to de-emphasize money politics in Nigeria, and above all, everyone has a responsibility to be patriotic. How much are you ready to do for Nigeria? And I'm sure the answer will be, how much is Nigeria also giving back to me as a citizen? So it's a two-way thing. Nigeria, be nice to your citizens, and your citizens will in turn be patriotic. Thank you so much again, Otumba, for being here on the program today. We have not forgotten. We'll follow you out of the studio for a birthday gig.
I will make the day memorable.
Okay, all right. We'll take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly, but also let's quickly remind you that any moment from any time we have the feed from the live program that Mr. Governor is presiding over today on Lagos Island, we'll definitely bring you that event. But until then, let's take a break, and the conversation returns shortly.
The views expressed on this program do not represent